Dear student, welcome to the next lecture of aseptic area and microbial control part 2. In part 1, we had discussed about the introduction to the aseptic technique where we had mainly focused on significance or importance of the aseptic area and the product for which it is used. And second part, that is designing of a aseptic area where we had discussed about these points and the designing of a aseptic area. Now moving to the second part, so here we are going to see the laminar flow equipment. So laminar flow equipments are basically taking an important part or playing important role in the development or design of a septic area. Now laminar airflow equipment, they are mainly associated with HEPA filter and different type of airflow. So what is HEPA filter? So it is high efficiency particulate air filter which is basically used to filter the air which we are getting it from the environment. That is, in case of a septic area, it is a room air. So that room air or the environmental air is passed through this HEPA filter, that is high efficiency particulate air filter. The name itself indicates high efficiency particulate air. That means they are filtering the particulate matter, they are filtering the different particles, and then they are passing that air into the system. Now in this diagram you can look out, that is two different type of laminar airflow are shown. The first one, that is horizontal type, and the second one, that is vertical type. So depending upon the use, depending upon the application, we have to decide whether we can go for horizontal or whether we can go for vertical type. Generally in microbiological procedures, normal laboratory microbiological processes, we are using horizontal type, the first one. So there you can see, that is from the top there is a inlet of a air, that means the room air, whatever the aseptic area room it is there. So from that, whatever the air it is there, that air passes through that HEPA filter. So on the top you can see that HEPA filter. So that HEPA filter is not a single layer, it is a multiple layer filter. So what are the filters which are associated with the HEPA filter are arranged in layers. Sometimes the aluminum sheets or the fiber sheets are also used. So with this way we are formulating or we are utilizing that HEPA filter which passes the quality air. Now that air goes from the backside and then comment in a horizontal type. Now why it is required? So basically whenever the person is sitting or whenever the person is working, you can see that person is sitting from the front. So whereby the person should not contribute any sort of contamination to a workplace. So for that reason we are using the horizontal type of equipment. So here what you can see, that is the air can only come out from inside, that is from the LAF, and because of which no particulate matter or no any other contamination can go from outside to the inside environment. So whereby we are maintaining the culture or we are maintaining those particular strain in a neat and clean manner. The second one, that is vertical type. So these are basically used for the some of the microbiological processes as well as for some of the specialized chemical processes. Now this LAF or the laminar airflow or laminar flow equipment is also called as a LAF hood. So some of the people, they are calling it as a LAF hood. So likewise what we say fuming hood. So similarly LAF hood. Some of them they are calling it as a LAF cabinet. Some of them they are also calling it as a clean bench. Now depending upon on which area, in which area we are utilizing that particular equipment, that is laminar flow equipment, we can name it in a different way. Next point, it is sources of contamination and method of prevention. Now in sources of contamination, there are the number of sources of contamination what we can observe or which can influence the aseptic area. The first one, that is atmosphere. Now whenever we are talking about atmosphere, the atmosphere is not a normal environmental condition, but it is the atmosphere which is present nearby to that surrounding area, nearby to that aseptic area. So considering the development of a aseptic area, generally finding out that is what should be the atmosphere nearby, what should be the environmental condition nearby, and based on that condition we are deciding that is this should be the location for the development of a aseptic area. Second main important source without which we can say that is operation cannot fulfilled, so that is a operator. That means a person who is actually going to work in that area, who is actually going to work in that particular aseptic room. So that person may become a source of contamination in certain cases. Like example, if he is not properly following the personal hygiene, if he is not properly following the protocol, changing the clothings and other particular things, so he can become a part of that contamination process or the source of contamination. Along with that, we can also say that is the skin, hair, or even that whenever that person is talking, so that may be a part of source of contamination in this condition. Next important part, that is raw material. Now raw material is also one of the important criteria, because that will be the one which will formulate a product, and if the raw material itself contain a contamination, so though we are going to follow all those aseptic processes, laminar flow and other particular equipment, still the formulation will contain contamination because of raw material itself is containing that contamination. And finally the equipment. So equipments, again the one which is used for the formulation. So if I say that is I'm going to use some sort of mixers, I'm going to use some sort of uh, granulators or anything, so all those things are going to contribute into this particular sources of contamination. Now how we can prevent that? So all those things we had already discussed. So first one, that is if we say atmosphere, we can think about the isolated area, we can talk about the where we are going to develop that particular lab or develop that particular area should be a isolated area. Second, operator. So operator should maintain the personal hygiene as well as he should follow those particular protocol. For raw material, again we are aware of a microbial limit test. Okay. Now that microbial limit test or a raw material test can be performed on a raw material, which will significantly reduce the contamination or which will avoid the contamination. And equipment, so basically we can regularly clean those equipments, or we can disinfect those particular equipments, cleaning of the working surfaces and other particular thing with which we can again try to minimize that particular contamination. Coming to the class area, clean area classification. So in clean area classification, ISO or WHO or USFDA, so different organizations have given certain guidelines. So out of which we'll just go through the ISO guideline. So in ISO guidelines, you can find out that they had mentioned the class, that is ISO 1, ISO 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So ISO 1 to ISO 9, these are the classes which are given by the ISO. If we look out with the second part of this table, that is maximum particle per meter cube. Now here you can find out, if we are maintaining ISO 1 class, then the particle which is less than or equal to 0.1 micrometer, such 10 particles are allowed. So if we go for 2, class 2, that is 100, class 3, that is 1000, class 4, that is 10,000, class 5, that is 1 lakh, and class 6, that is 10 lakh. So similar way, 0.2 or less than 0.2 micrometer. So again 224, 237, 2370, 23700, 237 000. So likewise you can find out for zero point 0.3, 0.5, 1 micrometer and 5 micrometer. And if you see, that is the code which is given, which is equivalent. So if we say ISO 4, so that is again considered as class 10 area, ISO 5 class 100 area likewise. So if you look at with ISO 9, that is called as a room air. So that normally wherever we are not doing the aseptic techniques, so that is basically considered as a ISO 8 or ISO 9 room. The last part, that is general aspect about the environmental cleanliness and disposal of a microbial waste. Now whenever we are going for aseptic technique, when we are choosing some HEPA filters, when we are choosing some sort of aseptic technique, what they do, they generate some sort of microbial contamination. Okay, so because when we are passing air through the HEPA filter, the HEPA filter will retain the microorganism. That means what are the microorganism, those should not go into the room, that will be retained by the filters. Now when we are disposing those filters, what we are doing, actually we are exposing those microorganisms. So for that reason, whenever we are doing such things, so they should be again in a proper protocol. There are certain sort of guidelines are given, that is how to handle those particular cleanliness or the disposal of a microbial waste. So first, identify the source of waste. Now here, first, in the first case, you have to identify the source of a waste. Then you have to determine the potential health hazard from the waste. Okay, that means whatever the microorganism I am expecting that HEPA filter had filtered, so whether those are the dangerous microorganism or there are the non-dangerous microorganism, they may be pathogenic, they may be non-pathogenic. So depending upon that, first I have to determine the potential health of that microorganism, and then I should continue with the waste treatment. Another factor, determine the volume of waste generation, that means how much it is. Okay, if it is a very small, even we can take the uh, area and then we can just put it into that particular digged area, and then we can cover it with the soil, or sometime we can sterilize them in the autoclave in some condition. So depending upon whether it is a small size or whether it is a larger size. If it is a larger size, then it can be given to the bio waste department also. Identify the safe collection method, that is how I am going to collect, whether I should remove that HEPA filters or the filters manually, whether it should be automated one. Identify the safe transportation method, that is whenever I'm taking it from aseptic area to the area of disposal, what should be the transportation method. And identify the safe disposal method. So as we had discussed, we can dig it and we can just put it into that, covering it with the soil or any other part. So these are some of the cleanliness and disposable for the microbial waste. So this way we are started with, that is what is the septic technique, designing of a septic technique, the different criterions or the different factors, sources of infections, their uh, retention or how we can avoid them. Then we had seen the class 100 area, class 1000 area, or the different class area, and finally the environmental cleanliness and disposable microbial waste. Thank you.